Good morning, guys. Hey, English for this week. A 4-day week, mind you. We're going to page 152 and 153, which I know we went through last week, but we're going to review a little bit what we learned last week. And then, if you remember, we talked about the how after the verb, but we're also going to add the when and the where today for the next couple of days and get used to that. So, let's get back to what an adverb is, right? An adverb answers how after the verb. It also could answer when, where, how often, so on and so forth. We'll get to that later. But here again, we have a nice sentence. She runs. I wish it had period, but it doesn't. Whatever. She runs. Subject, verb. If you want to answer how she runs, right? You say she. What does she do? She runs. Runs how? Quickly. That's the adverb because remember, these kind of describe the verbs. We're not talking about that she is quick. It's how she's running that is quick. Adverbs go back to describe verbs for the most part. Yes, they can also modify and describe other adverbs and adjectives, but right now we're focusing on when they modify or describe verbs, okay? Still starting off with adverbs. Here we go. He reads. He reads how? Slowly. Slowly. Remember, we're not calling him slow. How he's reading is slow. Slowly describes the verb. Now, we had all these different adverbs that end in ly. We talked about the difference between adjectives and adverbs. Quick review. Adjectives modify and describe nouns. The slow dog, the slow turtle, the slow car. Adverbs modify verbs or describe them. He read slowly. The dog walked slowly. Okay, the turtle ate slowly. Those all go back to describe the verbs. We could identify adverbs really, really well because of this ly, and that's still going to be a great way to identify adverbs. But as we talked about last week, you got to remember, they don't just always answer how. They can also answer how much, how often, and what we're going to focus on today and tomorrow is they can also answer when and where. I don't want you to get too confused, say, there's no lys. Hey, it's still the same thing that you ask when we go all the way back here. She runs how? Quickly. You can still say, she runs where or runs when, different things like that, right? She runs today. She runs when? Today. That's an adverb that goes back to the verb to say when she runs. She runs here. Where does she run? Here. Here goes back to where she runs, right? These are all common adverbs that are in each category. The how is what we went through a lot last week. The where could be, again, just sticking with she runs. She runs here. Here's an adverb. She runs there. Runs where? There. I know it's not very specific, but if you remember, you talk about she runs to the store. Well, store is a noun. It's not an adverb. That's the difference. Adverbs are just kind of vague with there. She runs everywhere. She runs somewhere. She runs in. She runs inside. All of them go back to she runs where? Inside. She runs underground. Well, maybe that doesn't work. But at any rate, it's still a common where adverb. How about this? Let's do when adverbs. She runs now. When does she run? Now. She runs early. She runs yesterday. She runs tomorrow. She runs today. She runs later. She runs regularly. Oh, look, there's some ly words. But again, that always answers when. Now, let's take a look at this sentence. I'm going to give you a clue. There's 6 words, and 3 of them are adverbs. And we're going to have one adverb answer how, one adverb answer where, and one adverb answering when. All of them go back and describe the verb. We have 100 bugs munched. Now, we could put the period right there because we have a subject, bugs, and we have the verb. What they do? Munch. That's all you need. But adverbs help you answer. We can answer 100 bugs munched. Munched how? Slowly. Munched where? Outside. Munched when? Yesterday. And now we have the whole sentence, 100 bugs munched slowly outside yesterday. Most of those words, 3 of them, are adverbs that go back to describe munched, because it answers how they munched, where they munched, and when they munched. We're used to a whole long string of adjectives that describe nouns, right? Like bugs. 100 creepy, crawly, dark, nasty, ugly, long-legged bugs. Those are all adjectives that describe bugs. Well, why can't the verbs get in the action? Well, they do with adverbs. And that's where all these go back to that verb, because they answer how, where, and when they munched. Now, all I want you to do for your assignment today is kind of sort adverbs in like this. You can ask yourself, does it answer how, where, or when? And here is your assignment. It does say to cut them out. You don't have to cut them out. If you just want to write them in the correct thing, that's perfectly fine with me. That way you don't have to get glue or tape or whatever. So don't worry about cutting and gluing. Just write them. I would strongly suggest you use the same sentence. Now, I know that she runs doesn't work for every adverb, but it could at least help you out, okay? So if you do she runs after, okay? She runs after. Does that tell you how she runs? Does it tell you when she runs? Or does it tell you where she runs? Well, if I'm not mistaken, she runs. Runs when? Runs after. So after will get written right here in the when column. Now again, let's go to this one. She runs outside. Does that say how she runs, when she runs, or where she runs? I would say that says where she runs, outside. Now she runs hungrily. Okay, maybe figure out a different sentence, right? The bugs munched hungrily. Okay, you don't want to run hungrily, but I'm just saying use a couple different sentences to help you out, and then ask yourself, okay, after the verb, does it answer how, when, or where? That's really going to help out with the adverbs, and that's how you do this one. We're going to, again, concentrate on the same type of thing tomorrow. Lord's blessings to you guys as the praise your Savior.